There have been many iterations of different FNAF characters over the years, and something I do have to say is this: the community of FNAF is really creative and passionate about having their own spins on certain periods of the FNAF timeline and storylines. We've looked at a lot of different FNAF fan animations, and they have been amazing. But in this video, we are looking at 3 separate videos from a channel called Foxy Factions 72. I'm going to be going over the Nightmare Fredbear series and the newly released Nightmare Bonnie video. Anyway, of course, links to the original videos are in the description, so check them out. Okay, let's not waste any more time. Let's begin. The first video we're going to look at is this one, Nightmare Fredbear, the first encounter. Before viewing the video, let's take a look at the description. It reads, "The first encounter, the first of many." With this, let's take a look at the video. It begins and we're thrown right into the action from the perspective of the crying child in FNAF 4. He slowly opens his door, and at first there's nothing until we hear loud creaking coming from down the hall, and we see a very terrifying plushy version of Fredbear. He peeks his head towards the door, and the crying child quickly closes it. He opens it again, and nothing. But things are still off. The light flickers, and out of nowhere, Fredbear appears, and before we can close the door, he puts his 2 giant fluffy paws to stop the door. He forcefully opens it. For a split second, Fredbear looks at the child as if debating and pondering its next move. Distorted noises are heard and Fredbear kills the child. Or does he? Now, some things I noticed from this tape are the following. The first is at the very beginning of the tape, we see a framed picture of an ad for Fredbear's Family Diner. As we know, the bite of 83 took place in Fredbear's, and the culprit was Fredbear himself and Michael, I guess. But we can assume that this is taking place in or around 1983. Also, there's another framed picture on the hallway. On a drawer, at first it's just a regular picture, then it turns to a picture of Nightmare Fredbear. This one's interesting because why and how would you even get a picture of him, and why have it framed? Well, my explanation for this is it's not actually there. This photo might exist in reality, but not of Nightmare Fredbear. It could be of the family or just something else. Now, in the scene where Fredbear picks up the child, we can hear some voices, though it's really hard to make out. I believe these are the events of the bite of 83 happening. But what exactly is being said? For me, I hear something along the lines of, "Hello? Stay with me. You're gonna be alright." As alright is being said, it cuts off. Some comments I found from other people trying to decipher it say the following. I mean, from what I hear, the voice says, "Can anyone hear me?" So, maybe. "Hello? Is anyone there? Call an ambulance." For me, it's saying, "Michael, put me down," in a distorted voice. Let me know what you guys hear down below in the comments. After this, we can hear beeping and more distorted voices. First, the beeping is the sound of a heart rate monitor, something you hear in a hospital. Second, with the voice at first it's hard to hear, but by turning on the subtitles in the video, it says, "Hello, I need your help." Okay, so who's saying this? In my opinion, it could be 2 people. The first is the crying child himself. As we know, FNAF 4 was a hallucination. The animatronics were not actually there. The voice of him, the second one, it could be Fredbear himself. He needs soul free from this torment, but this could relate to the next video we look at. But that's just my opinion. Write down below what you guys think. Also, this is a really well done tape, and it's also really scary. Moving on to the next one. The next video we have here is Nightmare Fredbear, the night shift. Once again, looking at the description, it reads, "Keep quiet, stay low, his friends are growing near." The video begins and we see a flip phone flying towards the screen with 911 on it. It cuts to a guy washing dishes and working the closing shift at a diner. He answers a phone call from someone, perhaps it's his girlfriend who's asking about a child. He hangs up and a noise is heard from the diner. He tells what he thinks is a late customer who didn't know they were close to leave, but he hears his exact words being said right back to him in a distance, repeating what he just said. Now on edge, we hear loud thumps coming from down the hallway. The light flickers and Nightmare Fredbear appears running towards him. He knocks him down and begins to just stare at him. The screen gets distorted. Noises are heard in the background, but more on that a little later. Before Fredbear is about to kill him, a phone begins to ring. This immediately distracts Fredbear. He lets go of the man, dropping him, and he begins to search the place for a phone. During this time, the man opens a locker and grabs a phone and dials 911. It rings and Fredbear grabs him and lifts him up. He roars and bites part of his frontal lobe off. The man slowly bleeds out, and we see the phone, and it's reached the 911 operator, and we can distinctly hear a woman say, "Hello, is anyone there?" Nightmare Fredbear then stomps on the phone, cutting to black. We then see a destroyed hallway with a lot of broken things. We then see white fluff, like from a plushie, and a lot of purple fur scattered across the floor. The camera leads to what I believe is an ear. In the background, we see a door open. It ends with the symbol of Bonnie's ears. Okay, this one had a lot to look at. First of all, who are we? Well, I believe we are just a random worker working at a diner. Now, it's hard to say that this is Fredbear's Diner because in that opening scene, we do not see one ad for the place. As we know, Fazbear Entertainment loves to plaster their ads everywhere, even in that location. So, I'd say that that's still a mystery. When the man first tells what he thought the intruder to leave, he hears his own voice. Now, this is one of Fredbear's abilities. He probably uses this to lure his victims to him, which they think is someone else. Now, when Fredbear is about to kill him, why does he stop when he hears the phone ringing? I believe that Fredbear exists in the hallucination plane and not in reality. It's kind of like the Upside Down in Stranger Things. It's a real place, but in another dimension. Beings from that universe can teleport to reality if given away here. Nightmare Fredbear somehow has a way from going to the fictional plane to realism. Now, with the phone ringing, it disturbs that connection. If he destroys it, then the bridge stays. That's just my theory. When he hears the phone ringing from the man calling 911, he kills him immediately because the connection is being threatened. The voice at the end on the phone is the operator, and this almost is identical to the voice heard in the first video we saw. Now, the timeline here might be backwards. This video might be the first in the storyline. If Fredbear remembers voices and mimics them, then that explains why he repeated the same thing this woman says at the end of the previous video. Hello, is anyone there? Slowly, Fredbear is going from being an hallucination to actually existing in the real world, and soon, he'll have a friend to join him. In the third and final video here, Nightmare Bonnie, the second encounter. For watching the video, taking a look at the description, it reads, "The clock ticks, your time grows shorter." The video begins and we see the outside of the Fnaf 4 house. We cut to a Nightmare Fredbear speaking to someone. To summarize what he says is, he's telling the person that time is running out and the deal they made simmers. Let go and your loved ones will be free from torment. The longer they wait, the worse the outcome will be. We then see a close-up of Fredbear. He continues and he says the following, "Your agony will forever remain eternal. Let us go." We then see Fredbear's eyes switch to human, as if someone is or will be trapped forever, but more on that a little later. We then cut to the crying child who wakes up from that nightmare. The clock reads 3 a.m. He hears noises coming from the hallway. The door opens and we see Nightmare Bonnie open the door. He peeks into the room and says, "Hello?" Sounding very tired and kind of confused, he tells the child to not be scared of him. The child hides under the blankets with his flashlight. He scans the room to see if Bonnie is there, and he scans it again until Bonnie springs from the edge of the bed and crawls towards the child. He grabs him and crushes his skull, killing him instantly. As the child falls, Bonnie falls with him, but he slowly gets back up and walks away, ending the tape. Now, many things here. First, who is Fredbear talking to in the beginning? I believe that person is William Afton. The two have made a deal. It could be where William promised Fredbear his soul, and in return, perhaps power, or maybe a longer life. Regardless, Fredbear is starting to get impatient. Perhaps these encounters are a warning for what's to come, as we see the crying child is in fact not dead from when he encountered Fredbear. I think that this may also not even be the crying child, but in fact William Afton, who is enduring these nightmares. This could serve as his eternal hell if he doesn't make right on the deal. Perhaps he is now in the perspective of the crying child, enduring what he made his son endure, the torment and the fear. The scene with Fredbear with human eyes could be symbolism for William, who is going to be trapped with Fredbear forever. Next, the appearance of Bonnie is awesome. He looks so scary and cool. Here, I think Bonnie is not entirely evil, just confused. He didn't mean to scare the child or kill him. Maybe Bonnie is being forced to do these things by Fredbear, or maybe it's Bonnie's eyes, he's not doing anything wrong. In terms of the next video, if the pattern repeats, it should be where someone else entirely encounters Bonnie. I cannot wait for the future of this series. I'm very excited. Also, I want to say thank you so much for the support on the channel. It truly means the world to me. Please go check out some of my other videos, and the links to these videos will be in the description. So, thank you all so much for watching. Take care of yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.